There's a reason I don't talk about a lot of manga that I read on this channel. And honestly, I read an unhealthy amount of manga, like an unhealthy amount. The sort of amount where if I showed you a weekly stack, people would probably be less impressed and more mildly concerned for my mental well-being. It's a lot. I love manga, I love Japanese fiction in general, light novels, weird literary fiction, classics, obscure stuff nobody's ever heard of, stuff that never gets translated. If it exists and it's in print, there's a decent chance I've been looking for it. So naturally, you'd think I would talk about it here more, but I don't. And the reason isn't because I don't enjoy it. It's because every single time I do, a very specific corner of the internet appears in my comments, like they've been summoned for a ritual. I need to be very clear here, I'm not talking about most manga readers. Most manga readers are completely normal. They love that series, they love a character. They cry over endings. They buy too many volumes and complain about adaptations. Completely normal behaviour. I'm talking about a very loud minority. Tiny percentage. But somehow they have the energy of 50,000 people typing in all caps. And they all tend to behave the exact same way. They're the people who genuinely believe they understand the story better than the person writing it. They believe their interpretation is the interpretation, that headcanon is canon, that the ship is canon, that theory is canon. And if the actual creator of the manga writes something different, they apparently, well, they'll go after and say that the writer is wrong, which is an absolutely bizarre and wild level of confidence I wish I had. Imagine creating something, spending years writing it, drawing it, living with these characters in your head every single day, and then someone with an anime profile picture and a Twitter thread says, actually no, that's not what your own story means. It's incredible. Absolute unmatched confidence. And look, I'm not anti-headcanon. I'm not. Have headcanons, have ships, have fun. Interpret art however you want. That's part of fandom culture, right? That's part of what makes stories enjoyable. But there's a massive difference between I read it this way and that's fun for me, and this is the objective truth, and if the creator disagrees, they're problematic. It's like leaping off a cliff. So it's when I quietly close the app, because I see it constantly, especially around manga and anime. People building entire narratives around things that literally do not happen or stated in a story or by the creator, and then getting angry that the story is not becoming their version they've invented. It's strange because sometimes I've talked about manga I've read, something I've read fully in Japanese, and something I've read in English. And I'll get comments lecturing me on what actually happens. Except what they're describing doesn't happen at all. It's not in text, it's not in the dialogue, it's not in the author's notes, it's not in the volume extras, it's not in interviews, it's nowhere. It's fandom lore. It's Tumblr mythology. If somebody's thread from 3 years ago gets repeated enough times, people start treating it like evidence. And then they'll argue with you about that like it's printed on page number 147. And I'm sitting there with the actual volume in my hand. Did we read the same thing? Or did you read the fandom version of the manga? Because they are not the same thing. Very rarely are they even close. Another thing that really bothers me, and I know I'll annoy people with this, is the expectation that Japanese media should automatically conform to Western cultural standards. Or to be even more precise, American internet standards. And it gets ridiculous because manga is Japanese storytelling, created by Japanese authors, written inside Japanese culture for a Japanese audience first. That doesn't mean nothing can't be criticised, because everything can. But there's a difference between critique and demanding cultural translation on your terms. There's a difference between this didn't connect with me, and this should be rewritten to reflect my worldview. And online, I see that line crossed constantly, especially by people who seem to consume Japanese media while actively resenting how Japanese storytelling functions. Different social norms, different themes, different humour, different attitudes, different ideas about relationships, different ideas about morality, different country, different culture. And sometimes people approach it by expecting it to behave exactly like Western media discourse. And they get angry when it doesn't. And it's like, yeah, because this wasn't written in Los Angeles, it was written in Tokyo. And some people genuinely seem offended by that. And maybe the harshest way I can put this, and I mean it, is there is a level of entitlement in fandom now that I find exhausting. People just can't enjoy stories anymore, that people act like shareholders, like they partly own it, like the creator owes them narrative obligation. Like if they buy the volume or watch the anime, then they've purchased creative control. And that mindset is poison. Because suddenly every chapter becomes, well, negotiable. Every character decision becomes discourse. Every ending becomes betrayal. Every interaction becomes shipping war evidence. And, I mean, every author becomes a target if they don't deliver what the fandom wanted. And I hate seeing creators harassed over it. Mangakas already work brutal schedules. Actual brutal schedules. And then on top of it, they get yelled at online because two characters didn't kiss, or because a fan theory didn't happen, or because someone's personal rewrite of the story didn't become official. And it becomes less about loving stories and more about controlling them. And that's probably the biggest reason I don't talk about a lot of manga here. Because I don't mind disagreement. Disagreement is fun, I love it. Tell me I'm wrong about a character. Tell me your favourite arc is different. Tell me I talked about something badly. Great, that's conversation. But I have zero interest in arguing with someone's imaginary version of a story that exists outside of the actual text and entirely in their heads. Especially when it comes with accusations, lectures, or being told I missed the point. When the point they're describing was invented by fandom 6 subreddits ago. And the weird thing is, I think this behaviour actually makes fandom less fun. Because fandom should be fun. Messy sometimes, yeah, passionate, absolutely, but fun. And somewhere along the way, some corners of fandom stopped enjoying stories and started trying to manage them. And those are two massively different things. So yeah, that's probably why I don't talk about most of the manga I read. And it's not because I love it, if anything it's the opposite. It's because I love it enough that I don't always feel like throwing it into the internet meat grinder. Sometimes I'd rather just read it, close the book, and that's it, enjoy my own thoughts. And keep that experience mine for 5 minutes before someone tells me my interpretation is morally incorrect because of a theory thread with 12,000 likes. Anyway, that's my rant. If you're curious, I'm curious with this if you feel the same. Leave a comment, tell me. If you've noticed this stuff in anime, books, fandom spaces in general. Or maybe you're just tired and sick of yelling at walls. Entirely possible, wouldn't be the first time. So I'm Darth James and that was this episode. Like, sub, do the usual, and if you want to support this channel, check out memberships and Patreon. I will leave this one here.